All right, with this West 2 Facebook Live update, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi. Hope you guys are having a good hump day Wednesday. 2 more days to go to the weekend, and we are certainly keeping close tabs down on ETA in the tropics. It was just downgraded, by the way, to a tropical depression over the Nicaraguan-Honduras border. So again, continuing to build off towards the west. Charlie, Jackson, Gil, Ermelinda, Billy, Donna, Jenny, Uliza, Razak, Patty Brennan. Good to have you guys in here on a Wednesday night. We have a lot of ground to cover. I'm going to spend a good deal of time on this tropical feature here and what may or may not happen with it. Tina O'Wedding, Leonard Blackburn, Carolyn Wilson, Teprika Dixon, Sean, Vicky, Melinda, good evening to you. Chris Pierce, Pamela Jaquez Lopez, Sharon Cochran, Aaron Craycraft up there in Raleigh, Rochelle Ross, Stephen Pashana, Crystal Davis Triplet, Karen Beach, Claremont's in the house, Karen Chuparov, good to have you there, young lady. Big Crown already, loving you guys. Thanks for popping in. You all know my motto, sharing is caring. The more people we can reach by you guys sharing these Facebook Lives, the more people we can put in the weather know. Sammy Joy, Marilyn, Teresa, Bill Callis, Vivian, Linda, Josh, Sarah, Sherry, Danielle, Mark, Carla, Angel, Irene, Cassandra, Helene, Patricia Speaks. Mr. Tony, what's going on? Has it been? Oh, Cheryl Negrani, good to have you back in the house. All right, so this is that's a look at what we've got right there. I'm going to go ahead and share this over to a couple of our different pages. Cheryl Price Blackburn from Benell also is in the house. Who else we got? Lily Bass, Chris Rotterman, Josie. Good to have you in here. Miss Josie. All right, let me do this. So that's a look at the depression. I want to do something. I want to draw. So I'm going to switch it over to this particular page. Give it a second. Share page. Seriously? All right, so there we go. So let me get my little drawer out. So the center of circulation is now somewhere in there and is expected to start turning north and east with time. But for now, it is going due west. The longer it goes west, the better off we're going to be. It's as simple as that. Let me show you a different perspective. You can see there's your circulation. Due west, going towards San Salvador. All right, so that's kind of what we got going on there. Let me pull this over just a little bit. Let me do one more share here. More options. Let's share to a page. Tony. Let's do this. Boom. Almost done, folks. Pardon me. All right, so that is a look at the satellite. Look at all this moisture, too. We got tremendous amounts of juice here. So this high is going to build over here. And as that builds east, the trough's going to build in. So that's why this is going to try and get lifted to the north and east. You can actually already see, look at the clouds, upper level clouds. You have to shoot northeast. That's a sign of things to come down to the surface. So that's what we're going to be watching. All right, let me give you the cone. I'm going to break this down for my peeps. There it is. There's a look at look at that. See the models now? See that spread? Look at them. A lot of them going further to the west. And only one or two lifting back to the north. So that's a big, big shift in the model thinking. All right, that's huge. Earlier, we had quite a few coming north and then east. There's the TVCN doing it, but doing it really late. Let's do this. Here's a look at the models. And you can see now the TVCN does come north like that. AVN goes further west and then back to the east. So We'll see. We'll see what happens here. That's a. Oh, I'm frozen. Oh, I'm frozen. Let me unfreeze myself. Give me 1 second here. Boom. All right. Let's get that back up there. There we go. So there it is. Can you guys see me now? If you can. All right. That's cray. Yeah. So that right there. That's a big shift. I talked about that at 6. Is it going to make it over the mountains? Now, that makes the decision for the Hurricane Center radically different. Here's a look at this. Was the cone that was going to do something like that. Now, and then at the end of the period, it had it close to Naples. But remember now, let's do this. So look at the models. Due west, AVN in the Pacific, AEMI changing late, H-Worth going west now. TVCN does come north gradually, but there's only 2 models. Only 2 models until the TVCN comes due north. So that's huge. I mean, a huge departure, huge change from the earlier afternoon thinking. There's the TVCN and curling back east very late Wednesday. So dirty, but the dirty right says not good. That's correct. Don't like the red model. You guys are killing me. All right, so tracking ETA. Short term, how long overland does the circulation center survive? How quickly a storm curves northeast towards the Caribbean, or does it go due north? And I think by the time we get past tomorrow and Friday, we'll have a much better feel for the rest of that cone. Yep, keep that thing away, says Aaron. Look at that. Jody, I don't know. I mean, now when you take a look at these models, there's only 2 coming up our way, and then 2 very late, the TVCN and the TVCNX. The rest of them kind of sit out down there. Look at that. H-Warp, no. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the rest of the models do when they start coming in. But that is a significant, I mean significant shift from the thinking earlier in the day. Now, I do want to show you the steering winds for anything that does come north. There's the Euro. Look at that big high. That high has been a staple this season. So the Euro earlier had this storm coming near Havana, not hitting the mainland Florida, but the Florida Keys, and then shooting west and then north, kind of like where the TVCN is. But instead of coming through Havana, TVCN comes through Cancun and then due north as a cold front lifts our way. So an intriguing and a very interesting model scenario just now playing out with some of the new runs that are coming back in. So Hurricane Center is going to have to make a pretty major adjustment here when it comes to the 10 o'clock advisory. But we talked about this. Does it survive over land? How quickly does a storm curve towards the northeast, or does it at all? And that was the question for me yesterday. So yeah, very, very, very neat, very 2020-esque, so to speak. Intensity forecast, can basically throw these out the window because of the new look that's coming in. The Euro and the GFS, let's see. Yeah, see, Euro still there. I'm not so sure that the American GF, look at the GFS, the green, has it in South Florida and then going south, which is really bizarro. Let me show you the Euro from a different sampling point here. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it, Cheryl. I got you. Don't forget my motto, gang. Sharing is caring. The more people we can reach by you guys sharing these Facebook Live feeds, the more people we can put in the weather nose. So the Euro was taking this northwest. That's not happened yet. So what you're seeing here may not be playing out. May not be playing out there, but maybe playing more to the north. The TVCN might be onto something here, coming straight north and then northeast like the Europeans doing towards the end. So something that we are going to have to watch. Here's the Euro raw. Again, the Euro comes over Cuba, doesn't quite make it to Miami, then shoots west and then north as a cold front moves in. The GFS doing something dramatically different, taking the wide curve over Cuba, not quite getting to central Florida, but getting towards Miami and Naples, and then taking the path back south. But again, the big story developing now, some of the evening computer models are now coming on in. And when you take a look at this difference, half the camp is now going more to the west into the Pacific or falling apart. And then there's still a few that come due north. So still plenty of time to watch this. Tony, what's Tony? It's there you go, Carl. Love that. TP orders. There you go. I like what I'm seeing here. I mean, if that trend continues, we might not get anything coming towards Miami or Havana, but more towards Cancun and then due north. So that's the TVCN may be onto something here. We'll just have to wait and see. Or it might take the track where the AEMI is and come more towards the northwest tip of Cuba. So that's a pretty significant change from the original thinking. Let's just put it that way. And that would have a significant change on the amount of rainfall, obviously, because then this would have to be shifted more towards the Gulf of Mexico, that 10 to 15, as opposed to South Florida. So there's a lot of cause and effect going on here now. Yeah, tell me about it, William. Hey, William, and there's a good reason why the GFS is lost. I don't know if you saw the new models starting to come in here, but check this out. Remember all those models that were coming towards South Florida? Now they're all down in El Salvador, San Salvador, and then eventually coming due north near Cancun. So that is a significant deviation. I'm moving back to New York, says Sammy. So here you go. Here's the animation. Look at that. Due west, AVN, AEMI, TVCN and AEMI curve back late. Then they get back in and come due north, not northeast like the ships in the HMON. And then the TVCN comes into the picture very late, a la late Tuesday or Wednesday. So unbelievable. Cheryl, 2 directly and 2 just to the west for now. Becky Moore, I don't think it's going to come to Louisiana because there's a pretty strong cold front that's coming into the mix here. If you saw the Euro, check this out. There's the storm. There's the front. So I think it's going to stay east of Louisiana based on what I'm seeing right now. There you go, Colleen. It has, Chris. It has. But the H4 for this one has been all over the place. Last run was along the East Coast. So this is see what's going on here. You have a tropical depression. So sometimes the models don't always do a very good job of pinpointing things. And that therein lies the problem. The European was going anywhere from 1/2 inch to 3 inches down in Brevard County. Again, based on the significant changes in the tracks tonight, there's going to be a significant change to this rainfall forecast. Antonio, it was a late night with the election, so yeah, maybe a little bit sleepy. There you go, Deanna. So yeah, there it is. So that's that pretty major shift in the models tonight. All right, let's do a little bit of local weather here. Kind of give you guys a heads up of what's going on. William, it's made some mistakes this year, actually, but it's also done very well. And then with 28 named storms, of course, you have more chances for a few of them to go awry. So there you go. Still some decent wind and some fast-moving showers here along the coast. Woo-hoo! Like that. Temp's still pretty comfortable. Been outside Orlando? Les? Cheryl, look at that. 57 in Panama City. 68 in Ocala. 78 in Miami. A couple more local temps here for you. 65 in the villages. 67 in the land. That's correct, Chris. Very well said. Yep, and that was part of the graphic that I had made, trying to decipher whether or not anything is going to survive. Cup of coffee, Mary, sounds good. Viv Ed, good to have you there. Appreciate you popping in as always. There's the east wind, steady diet of 10 to 20 along the coast, 5 to 15 inland areas. Lows tonight. There you go. There you go, William. Let's see, there you go. 60 in Ocala, 64 in Sanford. No, we were here late last night because of election night. That is still going on. They're still tabulating all these votes and stuff, and they'll get it right. They just gotta be patient. That's all. There's Thursday, and then there's a look at Friday. So there you have it. 80 to 85. Not too bad. And then take a look at the national for everybody. Hold on. Maria, I'm a little tired. I was up late last night tracking the election, seeing what was going on. Got a storm there in the Pacific. Got that little doohickey right there. Woo! Now, I will say this. Here's one thing to consider. Let's just say this just does go due west. Sometimes you can get a little pseudo development out of another entity off of it. So that's another thing to consider here. So we'll watch that. Thank you, Tony. Colleen O'Neill, you are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. Let's clear this. Boom. I'll head back to the coffee. Paisley, Victoria Harrison Magoot. The Magootski. The Magooter. The Magoots is in the house. Mary needs you to keep checking back in on that. Ooh, yeah. Sorry, Jeff. I don't know if it's going to be bad. Like I was just showing some folks here, the new models are significantly shifted tonight. Emily, totally interesting. There's something in the Atlantic. There's something in the over Central America, and then like a little piece, little blob of storms there east of Honduras and Nicaragua. So something that we'll watch. That's all we can do. All right. Nationally, temps look like this. There we go. So there's a 51 in Boston, 35 in Bangor, Maine, 51 in Raleigh. So we got cold there in the mountains and in the northeast. Mary Marie, M Square, good to have you there, girl. Studied at Baker College, Clinton Township, Michigan. Is that Michigan? Yeah, MI's Michigan. CO Mary's Cleaning. Hey, good to have you there. Mary. A little snow in the northeast, a little snow back in the mountains there of Wyoming. Orlando to Vegas. There you go. Mikey, hit me with some good news today. Denny Smith, let me just take you to some chilly weather, and then I'll give you some good news on the models tonight. Fairbanks 16, Fort Ross 1 below. Single digits, Yellowknife, Baker Lake, Iqaluit. 18 in Fort McMurray. 67 Chicago. Yeah, Mary, that's cold. Vegas 80. Dallas coming in at 66. There's a peeky for that there for you guys. Nassau in the Bahamas. That showed there was an election. 61 Guatemala City, Bogota, 57. Diana New York, always a pleasure to have you popping in. You got it, Phil. 66 in Cape Town. Khartoum, 79. Cairo, Egypt, coming in at 70. Rabat, Morocco, 59. Ankara, 50. Paris, 41. London, 37. Berlin, 36. Baku, 55. Done, Lisa. You got it. What's your aunt's name? Sammy Joy, water temperatures are in the upper 70s. Astana, 25. Surgut, 36. Bratsk, 23. Yakutsk, coming in at 10. Beijing, 46. Sapporo, 50. Manila, 84. Look at Broome, Australia. Woo! 100 in Frigo. All right, for those of you that have just arrived, a big shift in the model tracks tonight. Huge. You don't see this too often, but let me show you this. There you go. ABN and a lot of the models going farther west and then taking a longer time to get back into the Northwestern Caribbean or the Gulf. So the HMON and the ships model's pretty steady. Then the TBCN comes along a couple days later and goes due north. So we'll see. Denny, yep. Aunt Patricia. Everybody say prayers for Lisa Michelle's Aunt Patricia. We'll take care of Patty. Be safe too, says Terry Lottie. Again, the cone here doing something like that. It is going to be very, very interesting to see what the Hurricane Center does with this cone and track tonight. Look for a big shift. Yeah, Mary, I know, right? That's good. Yeah, so one model going up, two going this way, the others not quite making it past Cuba. So Tiff, right now, looking pretty low. Dave, Seath, good to have you. So there's that. Again, let me back this up here and show you the models. Significant change in the number of models coming due north now. Many of them down here and then turning only gradually or a little bit later to the north. Lydia Maroof, good to have you there. LM, always a pleasure. Oh my, fingers crossed it doesn't come. Linda, yeah. Diana doing good. Kialoe, Kai Moon, good to have you there. Appreciate you. You know that. Let's do that. That is some kind of weird right there. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Anyway, anywho, we'll continue to watch it. And that's why we just have you guys keep checking back in. That's all we can do. Now, what's interesting is that the GFS 18Z does come in the South Florida still. Interesting. All right, so we're going to watch that. What's steering it? Trent, what's steering it? That is an excellent question. And that, Adam's in the house. That's why I built this. So the Euro steering, there's that big red. That's the high. And then the little green area would be the Euro's version where that center is. Now remember, the new TVCN is west of there. And only the HMON is going farther north and east, with the majority of the others south of the Euro. So that big high is what's directing this thing off towards the west until that cold front arrives Wednesday and then begins to steer it back towards Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina. Sheila, good to have you. Patrick Speaks, good to have you there. Sally Anderson, you are most welcome. I do appreciate you popping in and saying hi. So there you have it right there. Chris, that's too funny. Yeah, it just it was a loss for words when I saw these new model tracks compared to what we had earlier. You had a majority of them in really good agreement coming towards South Florida and then turning west. Now you've got some that go west and fall apart. You got one that comes up towards Northwest Cuba and just kind of dies. And then you've got the TVCN coming into the picture very late in the day. So we're going to need another couple runs of this to see what happens here. But, you know, for me, one of the things that I talked about yesterday and today at 4, 5, and 6 is how long over land and does the circulation center survive? So that to me was one of the big keys. And maybe it doesn't survive, or maybe it does survive, but it goes into the Pacific. It's something we're going to have to wait and see and watch and see how this one plays out. Um, very, very interesting twist of fate here, so to speak, with this, and that's going to make a very difficult decision for the folks at the Hurricane Center, I do believe, when the 10 o'clock advisory comes in. It'll be interesting to see if they disintegrate this or if they still keep a cone coming in further west over Cuba and closer to Cancun and into the northern Gulf with less over Florida. I got to believe that that's going to be the possibility here. So we'll see. See if that'll come down here in about an hour and 15, an hour and 20 minutes. So there you go. Mary Marie's digging it. Mary, is this your first time on, or have you been on before, just out of curiosity? Adam Wolf has popped in. Vived, that's what we were just talking about. Definitely nutty. But it's 2020, so if you don't watch it, then you're going to be in trouble. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here with a look at the 7-day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday we had tracking the tropics. But now I'm not so sure that that's going to be the case. Emily, Toby, I'm not as concerned, but still going to be watching this. So the bottom line is you guys need to keep checking back in. Mary's been in before. Well, so good to have you there, Mary. Don't forget to like the page, follow the page. By doing that, of course, for you guys and gals, when I go live, I pop on your phone or your PC or your tablet, and you can just kind of watch. No, Emily, not yet. I don't think so. Good to have you there, Debbie. John Hedrick. I will say this. November storms historically don't come into the Gulf. They go here. They go southeast Cuba, Bahamas, and then up towards Bermuda. But this is not a normal year. We've had this big blocking high that's protected Florida and unfortunately driven most of the storms into the northern Gulf. That high comes in, protects Florida, at least initially, and then the storm curves back towards the Big Bend there, if the Euro is right, by Friday of next week. So Lola, that's what the model's been latching onto. But as I've been saying the last 2 days, I didn't feel like this storm was going to survive Central America, and I'm still not sure that it is. Here was my notes from yesterday that I put on the air. Short-term circulation. How long is overland? Does the circulation center survive? In this case, it might just go into the Pacific. There are less and less models now coming to the north. Lefty Latania Ramos has popped in. What up, Big T? Bob Daly in the house from New Smyrna Beach. So if you're just getting in, the wacky news, potentially very good news for us, is that this storm, most of the models are going further and further west initially, and some of them don't come back into the Caribbean, but there still are a few. So we're still going to watch this. But if you watch me at 4, 5, and 6, there were at least 7 or 8 models pointing towards Florida. Now there's only 4. So I think hopefully we're going in the right direction here. All right, let me end this on the 7-day. Still got a few more computer models that'll be trickling on in here over the next half hour. That'll have an update for you tonight at 10 and 11, but there's your 7-day. Scattered showers Thursday and Friday. Still going to have some windy conditions along the coast. And if the storm is able to come further north and actually get close to us, then there's a whole other consortium, so to speak, of things that we'd have to be watching. But for now, I'd like to trend on the computer models, and we'll just have to wait and see what we get for another 24 hours and try to look for some trends that either wipe this one out over Central America or push it into the Pacific, or potentially bring it up later into the period into the Gulf. So still a possibility that it can come to the north. We'll watch it. Hurricane Center is going to have a very tough decision to make, I do believe, tonight when they see what's coming in and look at that data in relationship to the current cone that they had as of the 4 o'clock advisory. So I'll have that for you tonight at 10 and 11. You guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe. Wear your masks. And thank you for popping in and saying hi. Toodles.